So a lot of people have been talking about this movie, so I decided to watch it toward the end of last week. I watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, and it's a movie all about social networking, how it's dividing us more than uniting us, and the dark side of it, basically. And what was interesting about it, if you haven't seen it, is that they have interviews with people who were actually some of the founders of these social media websites. The guy who created the like button on Facebook was one of the people that were interviewed. And these were like the techno utopias. These were the people who in the early days thought all you have to do is connect the world and everything will be great, and it can't be a bad thing for everybody to be connected and share what they think. If we could have everybody's opinions out there, then that would be good for the world. And there still seems to be sort of a pie in the sky feeling amongst your Zuckerbergs that are still, in charge and doing this. But these guys are the ones that have kind of fallen to the side and been like, no, this has a downside. This has a very definite downside, and it needs to be regulated heavily. It's not a pick me upper kind of movie. It's not something that makes you feel especially great about where things are going. But I think it's important, and it's not the only documentary or piece of content out there about this problem. But it is definitely something I've been thinking about a lot lately, to the point that I'm seriously starting to wonder if social media, the internet in general, but social media specifically, is kind of a great filter that we might not survive, not in the way that we had before. Like, I know that's really bombastic to say that, but it's like, look, climate change is something that we're all concerned about. It's something that is an actual existential threat to, if not our species in total, but definitely our way of life. The thing is, that's solvable. It actually is solvable. We have the resources and we have the ability and the technology to fix that if we want to, if we could all get behind it. But the problem is we can't get behind it. We're facing these existential issues, and we're not able to coalesce behind it because there are forces at play that seek to divide us. And they're manipulating and using these networks, these social media channels, to affect that. So that's actually one side of it, and I think they get into it a little bit in the movie. But the other side of it is just this naturally occurring thing that happens when you have an algorithm that is optimized only for engagement, not for truth, not for accuracy, not for spreading ideas that are good or bad, or preventing bad ideas from spreading. It is wired 100% for getting people to click on it. And that's what they talk about the most in this video, is like the way that the algorithm and the way these things are set up to make you engage. And if I could get into a little bit of criticism of the movie, this video is going to be all over the place, by the way. This is one of those videos where I literally just press record and I didn't really know what I was going to say. So I'm winging it. One of my criticisms of the movie is that they have these sort of narrative reenactments of what people are actually going through in real life with social media. It basically showed this young man. I don't know, is he still in high school? He might still be in high school. Getting more radicalized on social media by getting shown more and more, extremist stuff. And it also showed his younger sister, who's more of the Instagram side, which is the low self-esteem, the not feeling good enough. They were talking about how young people are actually asking for plastic surgeries now to make them look like their Snapchat filters, which is insanity. But over time, I've gotten angrier and angrier with, I don't know, I'll call him out, I guess, Zuckerberg. Like, every time I see an interview with him where people are like, do you think that Facebook is dividing people? Do you think that it's radicalizing people and causing extremist ideas to hit the mainstream? Do you think it's affecting democracy in any way? And he just pretends like, no, of course not. This is a good thing. This is connecting people. And I believe, robot Zuckerberg.exe, speaking now. It's more and more infuriating to me that they just seem completely unwilling or unable financially to do anything about this. Facebook came out in the early days and their motto was move fast and break things. I don't think that they knew what they were breaking was American democracy. But then there's the other side of me, before I get too dark, there's the other side of me that just thinks, you know what, this is literally, this is about a decade old. This is a whole new paradigm in how we communicate with each other as a species that we have never come across before in the 100,000 years that we've been walking on two legs. And it's been longer than that. I get it. Just stop. But the point is, it's a whole new paradigm, and there's going to be a period of adjustment. We don't really know, we've let this genie out of the bottle, so to speak, and we don't really know how to contain it, how to put it back in. I think there is a way to do it. There are very easy ways to do it, actually. Facebook has the resources and the ability to do this. They just don't have the will, because it would cut down on their revenue. There's also the argument that I'm sure many people on Facebook are making that, well, if they shut down extremist stuff on our platform, people will just take it to another platform. And that's probably true. And that's the even scarier thing, that you shut down. It's whack-a-mole. You can shut down one location online where this sort of extremist stuff pops up, and another one will pop up. People just go over there, and so Facebook probably thinks, it's probably better for us to allow it, as long as, if we're in charge of it, then at least we can have some effect on it. As soon as we shut it down, they'll go somewhere else, and then we can't do anything about it. That's probably how they think. But the algorithm could very easily be tweaked to be like, they can tell, they literally can tell as you're scrolling down your news feed. If you just stop and look at a headline, you don't even have to click on it. If you just stop scrolling for a second and read it, or maybe look in the comments to see what other people are saying about it before you even click on it, that itself is engagement. They register that. So look, they can tell if over time you're looking at stuff that is more and more radical. If you're looking at more and more pages or joining more and more pages that are more and more extremist, it's not that hard to figure out. They have the ability to do this. And they have the ability in their algorithm to just kind of say, you know what, let's show them a little bit less of this stuff in their news feed. Or maybe let's show them an opposing opinion or something. Just like sneak some other stuff in there. Let's highlight more moderate friends of his than extremist friends of his, or hers. But the thing is that probably would get less engagement and would get less advertising money, and that's why they're not doing it. So there's this part of me that is literally, I'm not really on Facebook that much anyway, and my account's very private. It's really more just for keeping in track of close friends and whatnot. But I'm really starting to think about getting off of it entirely. Like I'm starting to think it is a net negative in the world. I'm starting to think it's a net negative in the world, and I don't really want to be a part of it. I'm not quite 100% there on getting off of it, because there are some people that's like the only way that I have to connect with them. And there's a part of me that wonders if Facebook could even be classified as a utility. Like, is that where it is right now? Do they have so many hooks in us in so many different ways that you can't really get out of that ecosystem very easily, to the point that it's basically a utility? And if it got to that point, I wonder if, it would be more open to government intervention and stuff. Now, we all feel different ways about that, but the point is, this dividing up of our society, this bubble of information that we all seem to be living in, this inability to even live in the same realities anymore, I think it is tearing apart the fabric of our society a little bit. I know that's an extreme way of putting it, but it's a fear that I have. It might actually be my greatest fear about the world over the next 10 or 20 years, is getting a handle on that. And I worry that it's going to take something truly horrifying to really cause some change in that direction. So this is partly me kind of talking about the Social Dilemma video, or the Social Dilemma documentary. I don't mean to sound like I'm really negative right now and it's because of that documentary. I was already that way. I was already going that way. That documentary didn't help. There wasn't really a lot in there that I didn't already know. But I think there is something about seeing the people who created these social networks now coming out and saying, this is out of control and we need to do something about it. Like that kind of brings it all together pretty well. But anyway, I don't know. This was a very random, just like I said, I clicked the button and started talking. So this is not very well formed. This is more of a conversation starter. Am I right to be this concerned about what the social media networks are doing? Am I a total hypocrite for talking about how social media sucks when here I am on YouTube, which is a form of social media, and this is what pays all my bills? I wrestle with that a little bit too. Are you concerned about it? Do you think that we could pull out of this? Do you think that there's an answer? Is it just an adjustment period? I'm just floating the question. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about it. So I'll leave that to you. And I hope you're having otherwise a very good week. I'm actually having a decent week. Outside of that worry, I guess. I'm having a decent week. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. You guys take care of yourselves. Love you. Have a good one.